In this set of slides, we talk about traditional versus behavioral finance. Traditional finance focuses on how individuals should behave. It's very prescriptive. It assumes that people are rational, risk-averse, expected utility maximizers who have complete information. And these types of investors, they presume, act as rational economic men. And the actions of these rational economic men who always make the perfect decision with complete information lead to efficient markets where prices reflect all available relevant information. Behavioral finance, in contrast, focuses on how individuals behave and make decisions. It allows for people to be human. It draws on the concepts of traditional finance, psychology, and neuroeconomics, so looking at how people make decisions. It also places a lot of emphasis on recognizing that the way information is presented affects decision making, and that people respond with their emotional and cognitive biases. Behavioral finance relaxes a lot of assumptions that traditional finance make. Individuals are not assumed to act as risk-adverse, expected utility maximizers, so decisions may appear suboptimal from a traditional finance perspective. Behavioral finance can be classified as micro or macro behavioral finance, and for this course we're going to concentrate on micro behavioral finance, which is concerned with the study of individual investor behavior. Now, going back to traditional finance, we're going to look at some of the assumptions that traditional finance make concerning decision making. So one of those is about maximizing expected utility, or utility theory. And they form this framework within the bounds that investors have to make budget constraints. They're constrained with the amount of wealth that they have. So they can't have everything they want. They have to rank their preferences. So utility theory talk about choices A, B, C, and D. And according to traditional finance and utility theory, individuals are very, they know what they want. They know that they prefer A to B, or B to C, or D to E, or even B to A. And they're very consistent with these choices. They don't change their minds. And there are some other relationships between A, B, and C with independence and continuity. So traditional finance is very prescriptive in what the rational economic man decides and how they rank their preferences. Bayes' formula is also another theory related to traditional finance, where people are assumed to update beliefs about their probabilities when new information arises according to Bayes' rule. So Bayes' formula is also very prescriptive in that it expects people to update old beliefs in a certain manner when given new information. An example is this. Let's say you have two identical bags, B1 and B2. B1 has 3 red pens and 2 green pens. B2 has 4 red pens and 1 green pen. You randomly choose one of the bags to pick out a pen. A red pen is pulled first. What is the probability that you picked B1, given that a red pen was pulled out first? Well, according to Bayes' rule, the probability of picking a red pen is, for bag 1, it's a half, because there's 2 bags, so it's a half probability, times there are 3 red pens out of 5 pens altogether. For bag 2, it's a half, times 4 red pens out of 5 pens altogether. So the probability for pulling out a red one out of either bag is 70%, or 0.7. Probability of drawing a red pen out of bag 1 is 3 chances in 5. The probability of drawing bag 1 is 5, or half. And when we apply the formula, the probability of drawing a red pen out of bag 1 is 43%. So we've revised the probability based on the new information. Traditional finance also has some assumptions about risk attitudes or risk aversion. So traditional finance usually assumes that investors are risk adverse, but for behavioral finance, they may be risk adverse, risk neutral, or even risk seeking, or any combination. So for example, would you prefer option A or option B? Option A is a 50% probability of receiving $100. Otherwise, you get 0. Option B is a 100% probability of receiving $50. Those who are risk adverse pick option B. They would prefer $50 with certainty. Those that are risk neutral are indifferent between the two options, and those that are risk seeking would prefer more money and are willing to take the risk, the 50% chance risk, that they will get 0. So they're risk seeking. And these are the utility functions. So utility functions are graphed with utility, which means satisfaction from consuming a good or service. It's satisfaction. So utility there, and increasing wealth. If you're risk neutral, you have a straight line utility function. If you're risk adverse, then your utility or your satisfaction increases with wealth up until a certain point, and then it starts to decrease. If you're risk-seeking, your utility function increases with wealth and keeps increasing.